Welcome to another show of the Uncle Jimmy and Cousin Donnie talking softball. As you guys can imagine, it's been a crazy week. We had on the show last week Sal Milazzo. I think last week's show was incredible from a standpoint of many topics that were covered. But tonight's show, I believe, is just as good. We're going to be having two future Hall of Famers, Mark Holstein and Marty Dosen. Mr. Donnie Rollins,
Jimmy, what's
sir.
up?
How are you, sir?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Just getting on, just informing the crowd of all the followers of who we got on the show, and just kind of touching base a little bit about how Sal last week was a really good show. I actually watched it back myself just because I wanted to revisit kind of some of the things that Sal said.
Yeah, it was a good time.
A little bit about softball.
He was definitely a great guest, and he kind of said what he wanted, right? We like that. Jimmy, you love that kind of stuff. People that say what they like, right? Say what they want people to hear.
I know, and I think that's why one of the reasons I think that what's cool about what we've been doing is just really getting people's honest opinion about softball.
Yeah.
And just trying to make the game better. You know, I think that's realistically why we started doing what we're doing, and getting more and more people to kind of follow us and watch, just what we have on the agenda. I know we've been talking about a lot of things off air with, just some of the 12-inch things and other things that we discussed, but I think there's a lot of cool stuff, coming ahead. So
yeah, I agree. It was definitely a good show. Joel said that you only watch the show to watch yourself.
You know what? I don't know if you. I literally that was the first time I've ever watched this back.
It's good.
Is that
it feels
bad?
good, doesn't it?
Is that bad? I don't know how if you ever do, but that was literally the first time I've ever watched this back.
Yeah, I like to watch it just to kind of listen for the audio and make sure everything sounds good.
Yeah. But I'm talking actual interview. Like I watched it from start to finish with Sal, and I just thought that, a lot of stuff that we said and we talked about was good about softball. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
And I think, we're over, 2,000 views on that video. So,
that's awesome.
The people agree. And I know that, as we talk about views and things like that, we always want people obviously to follow our page. Our page grew quite a bit in this last week.
Yep.
We've had about 50 likes and followers, which is awesome. You know what I mean?
Very
like
nice.
If we can continue to do that on a weekly basis, that would be incredible. And we'll be able to go live right on that page where.
And then what's nice is, talking about some of the guests that may be coming on with some pretty big following. So we should see a spike. I know I've been inviting people just to come and hang out and watch the show, and people that don't even watch or know softball. It's still kind of fun to interact with the group. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's funny you say that. I actually golf with a gentleman I work with in the banking world, and he actually watches our show. He's never played an ounce of softball in his life.
I like that.
And he finds it hilarious about how we basically interview these people and how serious we take it. And he doesn't have a clue who anyone in softball is. So I find it funny that the more and more we do this, we're attracting actually other people outside of softball, which I think is a good thing, not only for the sport, but also just in general, just to have fun, right? I mean, that's why we play this sport.
Absolutely. First order of business, Jim. The team I play for on Wednesdays, we just won our fall league over at Genera Park.
But wait, you're a champion?
I am. Yeah.
Man.
It's a tough world out here.
Did you take a picture and send it to Butter?
We did take a picture. Yeah, Butters will be informed probably tonight. It might be posted already. To be honest with you,
he might have probably already texted you or FaceTimed you, one or the other, right?
He asked me who the MVP was.
Absolutely.
Robbie Grisano, I'm sure will chime in here. He pitched a great game in the championship game.
Robbie Grisano, huh?
Robbie got the mound. He pitched a good job. Yeah. Donnie played first. We had a pretty good team out there tonight.
Oh, nice.
It was going to take a lot to beat the squad we had.
Nice. So, let me just stop you right there. Let me say hi to some of the guests.
Yeah.
I know we got Kyle on, our producer, Richie Rico, Manuel Sanchez, Quinn Jr., thank you. He says Donnie Fox. I love it. Rob Grisano. Well, Jack, obviously Holstein's on. We're going to be bringing him in here shortly. Drew, welcome. Joe, welcome. Scott, welcome.
Brian Haas, another guy that texted me that he's really enjoying the show, and he said he's usually a humble guy, but when we talked about him, he said he got all giddy.
Nice. That's another cool thing is like when we talk about softball in general, I think it is a good thing, right? People kind of like hearing about what's going on, and I know in the off season, I mean, until the Dome League starts, a lot of these softball players really don't see each other as much as they do during the season. So,
Yep.
Joe, welcome.
There you
Joe's
go.
one of my favorites. Yeah,
Rob.
Joe's one of my favorites in regards to he comes to Iowa with Team Jagoff every year.
Yep.
And he's a proud supporter. And there's Mr. Robert Shelley. That's my uncle there from Edgerton, Wisconsin, joining the feed.
I got to give Joe Polito a shout out.
Yes.
He probably has more shirts from multiple teams than anybody out there.
Yes, I agree.
Joe has a lot of softball gear, and he posts on Facebook like what he's picking up every week, and it's always like from like an Iowa team or something like that. He's got a lot of softball gear, Joe.
So as we got viewers on the stream right now, please everyone invite people to our page. I would like to be able to go live on the Uncle Jimmy and Cousin Donnie page itself when we do these shows in the future. So please get on there, invite people to the page. I know we also have a YouTube that I will be basically eventually at some point uploading more and more videos to. So that's about it, really. I mean, does anything go on while I was gone this last week?
No, I mean, just we still did a great show while you were gone, so thanks for making that happen.
Yeah. I just was reading one of the comments there. Richie Rizzo, welcome. He mentioned a good point. The Vegas tournament is this weekend.
Yes.
Out in Vegas. I know Ronnie does a pretty good job of putting that on. I've never been, so it's something maybe before I stop playing someday, maybe I will. But at the moment, I don't have any intentions of going out there because I feel like if I go to Vegas, it's going to be more than just softball.
Yeah, I think it's only one day as well, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's only on Saturday.
Right. Absolutely. It's a one-day tournament, but still, when you're in Vegas, you know how it goes.
You're probably there for 3-4 days, Uncle Jim.
Right, exactly. So, you know how it is. So,
but we got to give a quick shout-out to Click. They won the Hamlin League. That was a pretty big win for them over the Hamlin A-League. Is a really competitive team with guys like Julian Russell out there, posted on Facebook.
Oh, from the 30-38s?
Yep. A couple dirty 38s out there. Richie Battistoni likes your shirt.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
We got a couple guys from like the Shooters and Dynasty out there with those guys, and kind of a mixture of 38. So that's a solid team to win that Hamlin League. So shout out to them.
Right.
I also want to give a quick shout out, Jimmy, to Steve-O Rodriguez. Steve-O posted on his page that we're working hard to kind of grow this page and grow the viewers.
Yeah.
Steve-O did that on his own. We didn't pay him. Not that I'm aware of.
I don't even really. I think I've met Steve-O a handful of times, but I've never really talked to him outside the softball field. So that was pretty cool of him to do.
Very, very cool. Yeah, he's kind of promoting our page, and Steve-O has a large following too on Facebook, and he's at some different parks. They're at Hamlin a lot, so that's a park that you and I probably don't go to that often. So
right. Yeah.
Different.
You mentioned that they had the championships. Was that the fall ball championships, or was that the summer wrapping up?
That's a good question. I'm not 100% sure. Let's maybe someone in the comments if they.
I think it was the fall ball.
Okay.
I think it was. I see Drew hopping on, Richie Battistoni obviously hopping on. Marky, welcome guys to the show. Tonight, guys, as we mentioned, we're going to have Mark Holstein and Marty Dosen. Yep. They're going to be joining us. So.
Well, we got a lot of people here, Jim. What if we bring them on now?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and send the invites out to them now because I know it takes a couple of minutes. There's Carlos Campos. I know no one knows Carlos Campos, but Carlos Campos was actually an old buddy of mine. We played baseball together as kids.
That was a long time ago, huh, Jim?
Yeah, it was definitely a long time ago. And he's a very, very good guy, always been a good guy.
Quick background about the two guys that Jimmy's inviting. They are this year's inductees to the Hall of Fame individually, which is pretty cool. Mark Holstein's been around the game for quite a while. Hi, Peter Corral. Good to see you. Glenn Quinn just jumped on the stream watching. Yeah. Who else? Marty Ruvatuso just jumped on in. Thank you, Drew Lady, watching from Iowa. That's fun. But Marty Dosen as well has always been around the game for a long time, and I know that he's been on some really good teams. So
yeah, the best part about tonight is I get to rip both of these guys all night long. That's what I'm really excited about. I know we have the future Hall of Fame Mark Holstein, who's the Mr. Co-Ed, as we call him now.
Yeah.
But we also have Marty Dosen, who's now the future Hall of Fame
There he
coach.
is.
So we got one to join us. What is
What's up, Marky?
hat on? Look at that.
How we doing?
Good. Are you able to hear me all right?
We can hear you.
Sound great.
All right, perfect.
Marky, you look about as big as me, but we're not getting there yet, my man.
Trying to catch up with you, Jimmy.
I hear you. You know, I haven't seen you in the gym the last couple of days at 5 a.m.
I'm an afternoon guy.
Oh, okay. That's all right. I know I'm looking for Marty.
Yeah.
I don't see him yet. I don't know if he's joined on yet, but I will keep looking for him. But in the meantime, we can kind of get started, asking some questions. I know, Donnie, as I'm looking for him, why don't you,
the first thing I wanted to say, Mark, I know you played tonight, right? You played a little ball tonight. Why don't you tell us about the field that you were playing on tonight?
So it's a field in St. Charles. It's actually on the Fox River. It's pretty cool, and it's a co-ed league. So the wife got to play tonight, and it's 14-inch hard, and you know it's no softball that we're used to, but it's fun. You know, it's fun. The rain held out, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like you said, it was a really old field, right? It was made a long time ago.
Yeah, and like the bleachers are made of stone from the early 1900s, and it's right field. There's a tennis court, and right behind that's the Fox River. So it's a pretty cool field.
I don't mean to cut you off there, Mark, but we got to say hi to Mr. Marty Dosen.
Hi, Marty.
What's up, guys?
How we doing?
You're looking handsome as ever. What's going on, my man?
I can argue with you there.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Donnie.
No, just talking about Marky tonight playing. You love the co-ed, huh? You're a big fan of that.
Anything that you get to have fun with is a lot of fun. You know, playing ball, and whether it's, you know, guys, co-ed, whatever, as long as it's fun, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And he likes hitting monsoon shots, I'm sure, with this 14-inch ball, too.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun, too, I'm sure.
Do you, Mark, do you change bats for that, or do you use the same bat all the time?
Yeah, it was funny. The first time I went out there, I brought my 16-inch bat, and it's an aluminum bat.
Yeah.
And I go to bat, and the umpire goes, "Hey, you can't swing that." I'm like, "It's an aluminum bat." He goes, "It doesn't have." The ump goes, "How do I know that's not a loaded bat?" I'm like, "Do you know anything about bats?" Like, all I know is it doesn't have a stamp on it. I'm like, "All right, buddy, whatever." So I just switched to a positive 12-inch bat, you know, and swing that instead.
So, Marty, do you play co-ed at all?
No.
No chance. I used to play co-ed back in the day, and I just don't have the time for it, unfortunately, anymore. So, with the kids and things like that. But I want to jump right in because I know that we got a lot of questions. Yeah. I know, just in general that we've already discussed. But, Marty, I want to start with you. My one question, because I've actually played with both of you guys at some point in my career or against either one of you guys as well. But what is one thing, Marty, like if you stick out as you're getting inducted into the Hall of Fame and within 10 days, that really stands out in your career? What is like that one moment, either individually or team-wise, that you look back and say, you know what, that was probably the most fun I've ever had?
Team-wise, probably just winning all the championships. It's nice always when you win.
Yeah.
I played on a lot of great teams. So
Avalanche, Avalanche.
Avalanche,
awesome.
Boom, all the tons of teams.
Yeah, the 45 teams, I'm sure, that won every single year for many years.
That was pretty fun. The one year in 2005, we went 92-6, I think.
Yep.
The guy above me was out for a month and a half too because he got into a motorcycle accident. And we still,
is that when you guys lost the 6 games?
Still won 92 games.
92-6. I remember that run.
We won everything but Forest Park that year, which was a big one. But
I wonder why you lost Forest Park that year.
Tenza.
The bench, boys.
Were you on the bench team?
I was the shortstop, my man.
Good job.
That was the biggest. That was still today the biggest upset I think ever in Forest Park history.
No.
Oh yeah.
Think so?
Are you kidding me? We were all like 21, 22 years old, and we just beat the team that hasn't lost in like 3 years. Yeah. I think that's a pretty big upset.
I'll give you that one.
Yeah. So, but what about individually before we hop over to Marky?
Were you looking for like a game or?
Yeah, just a moment in your career that you look back and you're like, that I was pretty awesome in that moment.
Hawthorne championship game of Hawthorne. Remember the Hawthorne tournament?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think first time up, 2-run double. Second time up, 2-run double. Third time up, 2-run homer. And then I threw 2 guys out at the plate.
Oh.
Okay. And then we ended up beating Storm, all my guys that I used to play with on the south side. So that's probably the best game I ever had. So that's what you're looking for.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Don, you have anything to follow up with that before you hop over to Mark?
First of all, that's a great game with all those RBIs. Something
Donnie, you don't get that many hits in a month.
Hell no. That's more RBIs than I've gotten all year. That's pretty impressive, my friend. I know you said you played with Marky above you. You know, what was the takeaway playing with a guy like that all the time, Marty, and now being inducted to the Hall of Fame at the same time?
I don't want to give away too much. I want to mention in my speech, but
okay.
Mark's probably, like I said the other day on the podcast, he's as far as I'm concerned, he's the best power hitter this game's ever seen.
I love it.
Probably the most feared hitter too.
Right.
I know you don't like playing the infield when he's out.
Hell.
First inning?
Hell no.
In the first inning with the ball's hard? No.
No, he used to hit him to be back in the day at shortstop. I hated it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my take, Mark.
That's
a
good.
great teammate. You know, you always want him on your side.
Yep.
So Holstein, getting it over to you. Give us a team and individual moment that was kind of the best for you in your day.
I think there's two team moments. One of them I talked about at the Hall of Fame podcast is when we got the double dip jinx and Danny Jelowicz caught the ball with 2 strikes, 2 outs down the left field line to win the tournament.
Yep.
That was there. And then the other one I remember is, you know, when you win those big tournaments, you know, those first wins you always remember. And I remember we were playing Nationals in Marshalltown, and we were playing, I think, Stover. And we had a good run going on, and they scored, I think, 4 in the top of the first. And the whole crowd was cheering and going crazy, and they absolutely hated us, right?
Right.
So we come into the bottom of the first, and I think we scored like 13 or 14 in the bottom of the first. So we answered the Stover call, and you know, that was like that top of the first inning. I never heard people cheer and scream so loud, and then you know, we put up our runs, and then you could hear a pin drop.
Right. Exactly. I was young. I was a young guy then, but I remember when the guy used to run up the fence.
What's that?
Who was that? Well, remember the left fielder from Stover? He used to run up the fence like after he hit a home run, or he used to climb like 3/4 of the way up the fence. I'm like, dude, like if I were to do that, I'd kill myself.
Jimmy, you wouldn't be on the show right now.
Didn't he that played? I want to say he was a good player.
He was a really good player. He was a stud.
Yeah.
The guy was an absolute stud, the left fielder. I think
Coppola?
that's who it was.
Is that Joe Coppola or something like that?
Yes, that's who it was.
Yeah.
I think it was Joe.
Coppola.
Now that you think.
Yep.
Absolutely. He was an absolute stud back then. So there you go. But Chris Downs, he always knows.
Chris would know. You know, Chris is going to know.
Yeah, exactly. So individual, Mark, tell me something individual that you feel like was a standout moment in your life or in your career.
There's a couple, but one that it always stands out, and me and Eric Giselle talk about it all the time because it was the Forest Park tournament. We're on field 2, and he was playing right field, and the wind was blowing out to right field. You know, good solid wind, and you know, sometimes you just, you know, you hit some balls and you hit them and you don't think you got them, and then they just keep going. And that was the game. The first ball went over the other backstop and landed in the taco tent.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And then game 2, there was another ball that went a little bit more to the left, and it landed in Richie Rico's dad's chair. Yeah. So, you know, that was both in one game, and, you know, that was, you know, Eric and I laugh about it all the time. He's like, he always tells me, he goes, dude, you tried to kill me.
Yeah.
He goes, I tried to run through the people. And the craziest is they wound up being ground rule triples.
There you go.
Yeah.
Ground rule triples.
Ground rule triples. So, yeah, both of them.
The rules, I love the rules of 16-inch softball. Isn't it amazing?
Yeah. So, and it was cool. And, you know, George Bliss was out there, and, you know, you know, I don't even know if we won the tournament that weekend, but I remember that game. Definitely a fun one.
Right. Donnie, what do you got, Donnie?
Question for Mark. Not a lot of guys my age know you played some professional 12-inch softball before you really got into 16-inch. What was the biggest transition from those 2 games? I know, you know, you got together like once a month and played league games all over the place, if I'm not mistaken. What was that like, kind of moving from that to 16 in softball?
I mean, you're still swinging a bat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Jimmy Matlock used to say all the time, I said it in the other podcast, he goes, "Guy, it's underhand."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, and that's what he would always say. And, it would always give you a little boost of confidence. And, yeah, 12 inch is a different game. The ball goes faster and harder. But, it's one of those things where if you put the work in, you're going to, whether you play 16 inch or 12 inch, if you put in the work, you're gonna do well, and it was a fun run. Garen got to play.
Yeah.
Garen and I played together for a few years, and we had a lot of fun. And I mean, Garen was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. He still talks about how good he is in 12 inch. I never believe it.
Yeah.
He's the real deal, man.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I heard he's a legit 12 inch player.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened with his 16 inch game, but we'll talk about that another time.
I think Jimmy's a little salty. He couldn't recruit him to Hex.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
That's all it is. I tried my ass off too.
I also had a question for Marty. You guys had a really good year with Moneyline this year. Good run at Forest Park. Got the bye for next year as well, and then in the offseason got better. Picking up a couple guys that we talk about on the all coveted rumor mill here at the Uncle Jimmy Cousin Donnie show. What's the hype going into next season? Is this the most excited you've been in a while?
Yeah. Well, anytime I get to play with Marty.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were getting to that.
Yeah, I don't know what he's thinking last year, but whatever. Those Meatball City guys are great, so I know why you went there.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's good to have him back, and he's only going to help us.
Yeah.
And with Eric Davis coming over too, he's been in every big game, every big situation.
Yeah.
No one plays better. We just hopefully his brother comes along as well, and then we got a nice.
I mean, the rumor mill had Brian Davis heading over to Moneyline.
But I think you're a little premature on that. But
that's why it's a rumor.
Yeah, maybe
it's not official.
Yeah, Donnie, it's a rumor.
No, you made it official last week. I got excited, and then I had to make a phone call. And then,
no, I don't know if we made it official. It's rumors. That's why we call it the rumor mill.
Another rumor. I got a rumor for later in the show. We'll talk
nice.
That's
I like the rumors.
Look
at this guy stepping his game up and everything. I like it.
I don't do the public speaking a lot, so
that's fine. I mean, you're like an undercover cop, so I understand. You got to be undercover all the time. You know what I mean?
I was far from
that. Yeah. So I get it. Like, let Donnie and I do the talking. We'll be okay. So Marty, I think a question. I think Donnie touched on a little bit. I know that this year you kind of played a little bit with Bankroll, and you were coaching Moneyline. How is it to kind of make that transition? Because I know Bankroll actually beat Moneyline this year in the major national tournament. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, because I was on Moneyline. That's why they probably. Yeah, that was just a bad game. We weren't really into it, and it's good for Bankroll though. They played well.
I get it, but I know you played with Bankroll at the A, which I know you're still playing a little bit. I know you're still hitting, so I mean, I've seen that all year.
Well, when I go with Bankroll, I know I'm going to play, and Moneyline, if I get in, I get in. If not, if they need me off the bench to hit, that's fine. But
I mean, I think you could probably still hit at a major level. There's no doubt about it. I know that you also have a lot of commitment outside of softball with your kids and stuff.
Yeah.
I know you're coaching travel baseball. So how do you like that? How do you enjoy that?
Well, it was nice last year because I didn't work at all, so I was off after being retired for a year. Now this summer it might be a little different.
Right.
But no, I was coaching my kids first and foremost, and then if I can make a softball game, I will. So.
Yeah. How about, and that leads me over to you, Holstein. How was your? I know you kind of didn't play a whole ton last summer. I know we went to Yuma. We were Yuma champs together. I know we had a blast out in Yuma, but how was your summer this? I know you talked offline a little bit.
Yeah, that was fun. It was I've been playing like this since I've probably been 18, 19 years old, and took a step back this year. And this was like the first summer in all those years that I didn't miss a family event.
Right.
Got to do a lot of extra stuff with the wrestlers. Been on the boat like literally over 50 times this summer.
Got to
Very nice.
hang out with me on Petite Lake. I know.
Yeah.
You know what it is. So.
Oh yeah.
We got to say.
So it was a change, and then I told Izzy, I'm like, hey, if you're ever short, let me know, and I was able to come out 5 or 6 times.
Right.
And hang out with guys, get some swings, and it was fun to catch up with everybody.
Sure.
And It's just, it was a fun summer. It was a action packed traveling, because my wife's a teacher too. So,
Right.
with both of us being off in the summer, we were able to really do a lot of things that if I was playing full time, we might not have been able to do.
Right. And I know I was going to talk about Petite Lake. Donnie and we got to get them out there this week, year. Huh?
Oh yeah, there's nothing better.
These guys would love it.
Yes.
Especially Donnie with that smile. He'd light the whole lake up.
I'm big. I'm wherever you want me to go, Jim. I'll be there. Marky, is that going to be kind of the approach for next season, or are we gonna continue to play a little bit more ball? What do you think for next year?
I don't know. Like right now, I'm 11 months past knee replacement, so they say it takes about a full year to get to be 100%.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So back in March, April, May, I was feeling good, but not as good as I'm feeling now.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's to go from being in pain all the time to literally having no pain is a pretty awesome feeling.
I bet.
Pretty awesome feeling.
What about you, Marty? You still gonna kind of coach and kind of
do
your thing?
Whenever I can make it, I'll be out there.
Yeah. So before I got a couple more questions actually, and I know Donnie's got a couple more too. But the one question I actually have for you guys is that, you got your Hall of Fame speech coming up in like 10 days, right? How long did it take you guys to prepare to write that thing?
I don't know. For me, I think the hardest part's going to be is listing all the people I need to thank,
right,
over the years. And that list is so long. It's crazy.
Both of us probably, right, Jimmy?
I would think so. After the Yuma Championship this year, I think we ought to probably I should be in there as part of it. You know what I mean?
Guys,
so should you, Donnie, for having,
I'll write you guys can go up there and give it for me. How about that?
Hey, if you want us to give your speech for you, no problem at all. Donnie and I will do that. So, but no, Marty, we got to see you up there, my man. You earned this spot. Yeah. It's your time, buddy.
I know.
There's nothing to be afraid of. No one's gonna bug you.
I'm not like my brother. He likes to talk. I don't like to talk.
Yeah, but that's the best quality about you, right? So that's what makes you Marty.
People may take it the wrong way, but I'm just quiet.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that. Quiet but deadly. That's how it goes.
Sure.
Quiet but deadly. I got a quick question for Mark. I was asked to ask you about a story that in Westchester one time you hit a ball into the tennis court off a certain other famous softball player, Rich Hennessy. Do you remember that incident?
Yeah, I remember because I remember it, but Mickey and I at the Hall of Fame Saturday, we got to reminisce about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because Big Mick was pitching, and then he came out, and then Rich went in, and Mickey's like, yeah. Rich asked me, what should I do? He goes, pitch the ball. He goes, so he pitched the ball, and next thing I know, he one-hops it into the tennis court. Mickey's like, and that's when the fields were big. That was before they made the change.
100 feet, yeah. They moved them in since then.
Yeah.
And not many people hit it out now.
Right. Yeah, it was. I think it was another day where the wind was blowing, and sometimes you just get it right with the right wind, and the ball carries.
Donnie, I used to hit them like that back in the day, but
I'm sure. I'm sure.
I used to stand from second base, and I still couldn't hit it that far. But anyways, that kind of leads me into a question. I think that Donnie and I were talking about a little bit earlier before we hopped on the show, and that's, we have like the new age of softball, the younger guys coming into the game now, and then you guys have kind of been around for, your generation and then kind of my generation of players. What is a piece of advice, starting with you, Marty, first, that you can give some of the newer guys coming into the game that's going to be playing the major level game?
It takes a big commitment to play. So
right,
if you're gonna commit, and if you're not, then
play the park league.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so I believe there's no one that put more miles on their car than I did over the last 30 years.
I know that.
I put that up to with anybody.
You used to live in Indiana, driving in all the time.
Yeah.
So
Lansing to Mount Prospect for like 9 years.
I bet.
4 tolls.
What about you?
4 tolls each way.
Jesus. What about you, Marky?
I think it's the big thing is, like Marty said, is the commitment. When we started playing when we were young, life was softball. You know, everything stopped if there was a game. Everything stopped if there was a tournament, you know.
Right.
And I think that's part of like when we were on the 45s together that season Marty was talking about. I mean, nobody ever missed a game ever. You know, we had 13, maybe 14 guys,
Yeah.
but nobody ever missed. You know what I mean? And I think, you know, softball, yes, it's underhand, it's this and that, but I think it's a game of repetition.
Yep.
You know, the more you play, the better you're going to be. The less you play, the harder it's going to be good.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I think some of the young kids now, you know, with immediate gratification and things like that, they want to be good right away. And some of them don't realize that sometimes you got to put the work and the repetition in to get there.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And
Oh yeah.
that might discourage some of the young guys. You know, they look at that peak, but they forget they got to climb that mountain, you know?
Yep.
They want to get to the peak right away. And I think that's the biggest difference between today and what was when we were young.
Right.
I don't think the game has changed much. I think the commitment to the game is what has changed.
Yeah, and that's something that I've always said. Like, if you got to play, if you want to play at this level, it is a full-time commitment, and I think that is what's lacking. But you know, it's like how do we bring that back, right? And I think that's a question that if anyone could answer, they'd be a genius at this point. But the commitment level has to get better with the major teams in order for the game to get better. And I think that's just the players got to own that. I mean, when it comes down to it. So
Forest Park's the same weekend every year. So
yeah, every tournament.
If you're a softball player, there's no reason you should miss Forest Park.
Well, and I think that's part of the reasons why, and I've said this a million times on this show, is that if we shortened the tournaments up and made it less, I think commitment does improve. I mean, I don't know if it does it right away, but I think it definitely does it over time. And to your point, Marty, the tournaments are the same weekends every year. I can tell you what tournament dates are next year for every tournament we play in. I mean, it's always the third weekend of May, second weekend of, you know, June, and so on. Third week or fourth weekend in June, and then the last weekend in July, and then Nationals is Labor Day weekend. Everyone knows that who's played softball for 20 years or even 10 years or 5 years. It's the same weekend every year. So to your point, I like that. What about you, Mark? What do you think that, you know, we can do differently to get some of these major teams to commit more of their players? And I think if the major teams do it, the A teams will follow through. I mean, that's how, when I started out, when I was on binge, watching you guys were 100% committed all the time. That made the lesser teams want to be 100% committed. So, I mean, what do you think?
I think the leagues is a different beast, but, you know, we talked about playing 12-inch back in the day. And, you know, when you play 12-inch, guys would fly in from all over the country to play a tournament, right?
Yeah.
Every single tournament, the winner's bracket final was on Saturday night. No matter how many teams there were, they scheduled the tournament so the winner's bracket final was Saturday night. And they usually would bring only 2, maybe 3 or 4 teams back the next day because everybody had to fly home on Sunday.
Right.
But I'll tell you one thing, those Saturday nights for those winners bracket finals, like, I don't know that I even ever made it to a winners bracket final at that level because we played like A or double A or B, and we were always playing with the major teams. But you know what? We were not playing, but guess what? We were there watching.
You better believe it.
You know, I mean, if you're playing 16-inch and you get eliminated on a Saturday, you know, if the winner's bracket Saturday night, you're probably going to stick around, have some beers, enjoy it, and watch it. But I mean, I could just speak for myself. But if I was eliminated on a Saturday afternoon, I don't know that I would come back for a championship at 8:00 on a Sunday night.
Right.
You know,
right.
Know what I'm saying? You know,
is that like music to my ears, Donnie?
Man.
Or what do you think?
Man, you're eating this up, Jimmy. I was gonna say this is. Did you pay him to say that?
I didn't even pay him. That's the best part. This is like right out of his mouth.
And that's literally I mean, by default, they have to run those tournaments that way because everybody's got to fly home on Sunday, right? Because most of those jobs you got to be at on Monday, so you got to fly home at some point Sunday. But you know, when you're at those big major tournaments and that winners bracket's going on Saturday night, everybody's there that played all day. Nobody leaves.
Right.
You know, and I think we see that, you know, like at Forest Park on Saturday night and Friday night, you'll get people that play and they stick around. But if you're eliminated, I think as we've seen the crowds the last couple of years, not as many people come back
on Sunday
for an all-day Sunday event anymore.
Right. I agree, 100%.
So,
Donnie, do you have any Any questions for these guys?
Jimmy, it's your time to shine, Jim.
All right, here we go. So here's the final question, guys. It's the question I ask all the guests. I'll start with you, Marty. If you had one thing in softball that you'd want to change, take commitment out of it, because we've already talked about commitment, what would it be right now to make the game better?
I like to see one league.
Okay.
Take Washington Park, you take Forest Park, you take Melrose Park, get all the same team, maybe 16, 20 teams, just have one league.
So like kind of like a super league.
Exactly.
And like
if your home park's or Melrose Park, you play most of your games there.
Right.
If you're Washington Park, you play your most games there, and then you go on the road and you play a little. Just try something different. I don't know.
Right. So I love that idea.
Play a 40-game season or something similar to that.
Yep, I love that idea, and that's something I believe that either it was Sal or somebody had brought that up in years past about the Super League. I think it's a tremendous idea. How you get the park districts to work together with that from the money perspective, I don't know, but I don't see why you can't play a 3-game series against, like Hex and 45s or Hex and Flash over the course of a season. And then maybe those 8 teams, you only play a 2-game series. Yeah. And like to your point, you play at 3 different parks, or back in the day when we had Mount Prospect, it was perfect for all those Northside teams, but maybe you do like a Schaumburg, Melrose, and 2 on the south side, like an Oak Lawn or a Forest Park. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how hard that would be to put together, but I love that idea. That's a tremendous idea. Yeah. I like that.
I don't have too many ideas, so that's this one.
Hey, man, and I like that.
He's a silent assassin.
And then you throw in PJ Reigns' stat thing with Game Changer, and look at how we have a full-blown regular season. What about you, Holstein?
I agree with Marty too. A super league would be awesome, but I think what might discourage some people is it's a different world nowadays, and people have things to do. I think people work more than they used to back in the day. Yeah. It's just the way life is. But a lot of times with the leagues, what happens is you're like, all right, we're supposed to play this night and this night, but this week we wind up playing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Next week we're only going to play Tuesday, but then the next week it's 3 days. The following week it's 2 days. You know what I mean? It's really, if you're young and you got no commitment, who cares? Yeah. Right? But as you get older and you have family and kids and other commitments, it's a lot easier to say, to your family, hey, no matter what's going on, I'm going to play Tuesday night, Wednesday night. Right. But I'm going to be home Monday, Thursday, and if there's no tournaments, Friday in the weekend. Yep. Whereas now we put out the schedules. Yes, you can't help rain, this or that, but it just seems like over the years, there's been weeks where you play 3-4 nights a week. There's weeks you play 1 night a week. Yeah. Something that's more of a schedule or a routine. I think that would help with commitment too, because it's easy to commit and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to play these 2 nights a week. Yep. But you don't have to worry about me playing Monday, Thursday, Friday. You know what I mean? I think that would help a lot of guys with responsibilities and families,
What do you think about that, Don?
I love it. I like Marty's idea with 1 league, because kind of makes it a little bit easier on the commitment. You're playing that kind of day every week. You can set that aside almost. But Mark makes a good point too. It's like guys are working a little bit more. It is difficult to make more games. People just have different lifestyles now. You're absolutely right. And I like what you brought up about PJ Reigns and the stat book. If we had 1 super league with stats, Jimmy, that would be the place to play softball. That would be the best league in the world.
Right. How to make that happen, I don't know, with all the different park districts, because I know Forest Park.
With the teams too, who you let in.
Right. There would be some sort of backlash as to who gets in and who doesn't. But yeah.
I mean, there's no reason why change can't happen, though. I mean, that's the one thing that I've learned. I mean, just hearing from Sal last week when he started the SSA, with a handful of other guys, it was definitely something that they probably weren't expecting in the early 2000s or late, so it's definitely something that I think is a great idea. And, I mean, it might be something that we can bring back up to the upper. Melrose is run by the SSA, though. Forest Park's run by Forest Park. There's no association with that. And I don't even know. I mean, I guess Schaumburg's going to have a league this year or next year, I've been told. So that could be something as well. So
South will be at Schaumburg this year, too.
North-South will be there.
Yep.
The Egg Tournament, which I've been promoting. He's going to have a big tournament in Schaumburg this year. I think softball next year is going to be a little bit different, but I think all the changes are going to be good for the game. I hope and pray that they do change at least one of the tournaments to end, like Marky was saying, on a Saturday night, and just to see the difference of commitment levels from some of the players and just from a crowd perspective. People like playing in front of people. That's why Forest Park is what Forest Park is. Holstein, that's why we travel to Yuma, right? I mean, think about it. I wouldn't go to Yuma if there was 10 people in the stands, right? I mean, I love the time we have, but you like playing in front of people. That's the whole point. So, to that point, I think those are all great points. So I don't have any more questions, but this is the point of the show that we ask you guys what questions you have for us.
Yep.
Other than my workout that, I've been doing with Marty.
I don't know what
Any
it's
questions,
a
guys?
question. I don't think it's a question, but I think it's great that you guys do this. I mean, the more exposure there is, you know what I mean? Between who's filming what games, Geo, Forest Park, all the followers here, there, and, the internet's a very powerful tool.
Yep.
I mean, and the more that get involved and the more that, you could interview here and pick their minds. And, I think everybody collectively could, maybe bring this game to a much, not that it's in a bad place, but bring it to a better place.
Well, absolutely. And the togetherness is what we need. I mean, we're such a small world in the 16-inch to have, people arguing and fighting and stuff like that is not necessarily what we need. You know what I mean? And if we're all looking on the same page to grow the game, there's no reason why we can't. There's a lot of powerful people, as you guys know, in softball that can do a lot of good things.
Right.
So,
and at the end of the day, it's in a game, and it's a game we love to play. You know what I mean?
Right. What about you, Mark? Any questions for us?
Not really.
No.
Keep it up. Good job. I enjoy watching the show every Wednesday. A little earlier next time, though. It's us old guys go to bed early.
I hear you. Well, the West Coast edition last week was a little late, so. But that's okay.
Thank you guys for coming on the show. We appreciate you both.
Yes, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys.
All right.
All right, bye.
All righty.
Let me get there we go. So it's just back to your lovely face.
Just me and you, friend.
So
solid.
I know that we had talked about our new thing that we wanted to start this week. And that was kind of after last week about how we brought Robbie on.
Mm-hmm.
It made a light bulb go off in our head.
Yeah.
So I think this week, before we get to Rumorville, we're going to bring on a guest every week that's just in the crowd right now. We have 32 people on.
I love it.
We're going to pick somebody who wants to come on live, and we're going to ask them 2 questions.
I love it.
One question from Donnie, and they're going to get my super question that I ask every guest on the show.
Yep.
So let's go through our list of 32 people that are out there right now.
Let's see. We got Russ DeLude that's commenting right now.
Here's the thing. I want to bring Jake Reynolds to the show. Jake Reynolds had a huge event, if he's still watching, a huge event at his place out in Iowa.
Okay.
And I would love to hear, he's an Iowa guy, I'd love to hear a little bit about him. Do you agree on that one? I mean, I'm looking through here.
That'd be nice.
Would you be comfortable with bringing him on?
Yeah,
if
get a little different perspective. If somebody else is or somebody's on and wants to get on as well, you just kind of put it in the comments. If Jake's ready to rock and roll, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm going to try to bring him on right now and see if it allows me to bring him on.
All right.
I don't know if he's still watching, but it shows that he is. So hopefully he's dressed properly to come on the show.
Look at that.
Look at this guy.
I wanted to comment really quick, Jim. I wanted to comment that we are having great success getting guests onto the feed.
Yes, we are. Jake Reynolds, how are you, sir?
What's up, man? No, I'm good. Just trying to get ready for bed. Listen to you guys, man.
You know what? We appreciate the support, my man.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a couple questions for you. Donnie and I will have each one question. But one thing I wanted to ask you was I know I won the powerlifting event a couple weeks ago at your place.
Yeah,
how
you
did everything
awesome.
else turn out after I left?
You did great.
Yeah,
it was a cool event, big event from Marshalltown. I'm all about Marshalltown, that whether it's softball or whatever, just trying to, bring more people to town. Marshalltown's not the biggest town,
right.
But any way we can kind of, get a little, help the economy a little bit, I'm all about it. So yeah, it was a good weekend. Had about 400 or 500 extra people come to town for the powerlifting meet. So it was awesome, man.
Old Timers was rocking, I'm sure, right?
I didn't even make it down there, man. It was crazy. Sorry, RB. My bad.
Yeah, my guy RB, I love him. Every time we go to Iowa, we're there both nights.
Yeah.
There's something about that place. I just like it. It's a great spot for just softball in general. I mean, I was fortunate enough to play in Marshalltown when they used to host a lot of the major national tournaments back in the day.
Yep.
I don't know, there's just something about those fields that I think are just cool about softball. The fences are a little short, but
here's the thing though about the fences. Like, it depends when you play in Marshalltown. It's different. Like, look at when Nationals was here. What, in 19?
Yeah.
I can't even remember when it was here last.
18 I think it was 18.
In the summer, the ball carries a little bit. It doesn't carry like in Chicago, but then you come here, August, September, and it's a little bit chilly, and you get 27 people that think they want to hit a home run. And I think the winning home, the winner only hit 3 home runs that weekend out of 10 swings,
right.
So it plays good for 16-inch, it's not,
Because
it's a good park.
I know when my guy Drew from Chuck's is going yard, I know there's issues. All right.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So, Donnie, what question you have for Jake before I get to my famous question?
Yeah, Jake, nice to meet you, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask, Iowa had a pretty successful year this year on the A side, and then in the major side, representing, really well, coming out to a lot of tournaments. What is the state of 16-inch softball in right now for guys that want to come and play in Chicago? Is it more than ever?
More than ever, maybe. It's definitely growing here a little bit. I know we started our little association here, kind of got away from our ASA as well here too. But ultimately, it's not about associations here. We're kind of just trying to get more teams playing, and we're getting there. I think some of the younger teams see the success when we go out there, and it kind of fires them up a little bit. And we host we don't have the teams that you do, of course, but we host an A team or an A tournament here. It's getting a little bigger,
Right.
We're getting there.
I mean,
for sure.
The thing I think that hurts you guys a little bit is that your fields are so far apart. Like Marshalltown and Cedar Rapids are like 2.5 hours apart from each other. You know what I mean? That makes it very difficult when you travel or try to run a tournament, because the teams from Marshalltown have to drive to Cedar Rapids or vice versa, and it's not it's not an easy commute. It's like us driving to Wisconsin Dells to play a tournament. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and Cedar Rapids to Carroll, so it's like Cedar Rapids is 30 minutes north of Iowa City, and they're going to drive clear over to Carroll, Iowa, and vice versa. You get the Carroll teams come to Cedar Rapids. That's 3 hours, something, 3.5. That's a long haul, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. Nate's been telling me I got to get out to Carroll before I quit playing. So
Carroll.
That's one of my goals here in the next couple of years, to get out there. So
absolutely,
for sure. But my question to you, Jake, is that softball today as a whole, I always ask everybody is if you had one thing that you could change to make the game better, what would it be?
Man, one thing to make it better.
Yeah, I mean, you could speak to, because I mean, you guys come down to Chicago too. I mean, you guys play in a lot of Chicago tournaments now.
One thing I see, and it might make Iowa softball better, and maybe
it's okay,
and it might help, get more people to play, is that what I see you guys do is you have your main teams, right, and your major teams. So your major teams seem to play 5-6 tournaments together, maybe throughout the year.
5 tournaments,
yeah. But then every other weekend, you're going and playing with guys from every other team and mixing and matching, and that's something we don't do here.
Right.
We don't have a lot of fundraising tournaments. We don't have that. So maybe if we can do something in that, where
some charity stuff.
Each team maybe only gets 3 major players or something like that, and we, can play with more people from other teams. That might help grow, and you meet new people and help some of the younger teams or some of the younger players play the game and kind of direct them the right way. I don't know. That maybe help a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, when we go to Iowa, you guys are usually in the low 30s, high 20s for teams, which
that's about it.
Which is tremendous, though. And there's no reason why you guys couldn't do like a Papa Hops type format where it's like 2 major players per team.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys break up with some of those other, maybe the A teams and Stovers, and and I think Stover's going to try to make that jump now to become the next.
I hope they do. I hope they do. There's some good young players on that team,
Yeah. So, that being said, I think you guys have the capability of doing a charity tournament with only 2 major players, and I think you guys might reap the benefit of it if you put it. The one thing I can say about Iowa players that I've noticed is that you guys travel everywhere to play softball, which is, like I said, is awesome. And you guys are always looking to play every weekend.
Yeah.
I talked to Drew. I think Drew went from like Yuma to Marshalltown to like Carroll and like back to back weekends. And I'm like, dude, like I'm exhausted just going from Arizona to Iowa.
Right.
And people think I'm crazy doing it in back to back weekends.
And you got kids and a wife, and not everybody's wife lets them. I shouldn't say but wants them to go every single weekend. And as we get older, your kids get involved. You know how that is. You're a busy dude.
Oh yeah,
it's tough,
I get that.
Man. It's tough.
I get it. I agree with you 100%. I mean, and I'm fortunate enough to have a pretty awesome wife and kids and stuff like that. But my kids are going to start getting older, where my time in softball is probably in the next 2 to 3 years is going to become not as full commitment as I am now. Which
I understand 100%, dude.
And that's okay though. I'm happy for that, because that's part of my life that with my kids I'll never get back. So it's
100%.
So I'm good with that. But I definitely appreciate you hopping on short notice, man. Putting you on the spot like this, but
yeah. Sorry, we had to go audio only, but
that's okay. I don't want to know
what's going on here.
Yeah, I don't want to know what's going on behind.
Yeah, we figured you might be naked, Jake.
Yeah.
Maybe, you never know.
It might be good for views.
Let's not get crazy, Donnie.
Fair enough. Yeah, kids show. It's a kids show.
Before you head out, Jake, you have any questions for Donnie and
I? Well, give me your best rumor going on in Chicago right now.
Oh, okay.
Love it.
One that we haven't shared yet?
Yeah, let's hear it, man.
So Johnny Ryan back to the Shooters. I don't know if you know what Johnny Ryan is.
Yeah. Okay.
Johnny Ryan was an OBI guy. He ran the OBI team last year. I heard through the grapevine, and I don't know how true that is, but I heard he's going to be going back to the Shooters next year. Which I think
OBI.
No, OBI is not going to happen next year. There'll be no more OBI team.
Dang.
So, yep.
That's good.
And I think, and some of their players have kind of scattered it, from my understanding. I know we picked up one of them, and then I know I think Spencer might go with him as well to Shooters.
Okay. Yep.
So Spencer's the right fielder. He's a lefty. He's a really nice player. I think he's only going to help the Shooters, and I think the Shooters are going to be a lot better with those two guys next year for sure. And then who's the first baseman, Donnie? I always butcher his name. He's a really good hitter.
Oh, Eddie?
Yeah. Is that
Big Eddie?
What's his last name? It's like a weird name, isn't it?
Are you talking about he's a bigger guy, right? He's a taller guy?
Yeah, Shoots or something like that.
Yeah, I know his name's Eddie, and we played against him this year, and he argued pretty heavily with the umpire in the very first inning, which was very entertaining.
Awesome.
I don't know his last name, but Eddie's another good player. That team would be nice.
Yeah. So but I think they'll definitely improve, Jake, for sure. So,
nice.
And I don't know if you were watching previous shows, but Mans from the 45s, he went to Flash.
Okay.
So at the major level, we've had.
So who's the big pickup for Hexen?
We picked up Eric Manzella from Dynasty,
Okay.
and then Smokey from OBI. I don't know if you remember Smokey. He played with us at the National. And then we picked up this kid Frank as well, who's going to be a pretty big upside. Shook, yeah, that's right. Shook is the first
Bob.
baseman. There you go, Bob Shook, not Eddie. I don't know why we said Eddie, but
I was thinking Shooter's first baseman. I wasn't sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So that's who we picked up so far, Jake. We have a couple other guys, I think, in the, I guess on the list, if you know what I'm saying. But they haven't gotten back to us yet.
Right on.
So, how about old timers? I know you guys made the rumor mill a couple weeks ago.
What was that? I might have missed that one.
I heard Old Timers and Chucks might be talking about combining possibly, but I haven't really heard much since then.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Never know.
So very interesting stuff going on out in the Iowa
Come on,
world.
Jake. We need a little bit more out of you there, Jake.
Well, I know Old Timer. I'll say this: Old Timer, we lost a lot of guys on our team. Boswell's done; he's got to have a knee replacement.
Right.
A lot of our, role player guys that would come in and pinch hit. Kenny Diggins, Corey Schoenfelder, kind of. Ricken was kind of a shortstop fill-in guy anywhere in the infield.
Yep.
Tyler Slagle. So we just lost a bunch of dudes, and nobody's jumping to come play with old timers. I don't know what the fuck's going on, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
We're literally living up to our name. We're getting fucking old,
I hear you, my man. I hear you. I know you still got a couple really nice players on that team, though.
I mean, we can, with who we have, we can still compete. It just, if my hamstring blows up, if Big Cat's he goes down, we don't have anybody else to throw in right now. So
yeah, you have no doubt.
Yeah.
So you gotta, yep. And like kind of what we said weeks ago, it's hard to steal from those A teams, but when you guys play out of city tournaments, there's no reason why you guys can't grab some bench guys to come with you down to Chicago. But
I'll give Hall of Fame credit. A couple of those guys come to the gym, actually more than a couple. And I've talked to them, and I'm like, "What are you guys doing?" They're like, "We're sticking together." Like they are a young team. They've had some success, and they're not going out and trying to pick anybody up. They're rolling with their dudes. I mean, I give them credit for that. That's a pretty hard thing to come by these days.
Makes sense. No, that's great, man. So outside of Chuck, Stover, and Old Timers, who's kind of like the next team that is up and coming in Iowa before we let you go?
Up and coming. Oh, sheesh.
I know obviously Stover won the A.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it. They did good at A this year too. F-Town.
Yeah.
F-Town?
Yeah.
You know what? Like there's some dudes on that team, man.
Yeah.
Like they had a hell of a year last year. So I expect them to. I don't know a lot of them. There's some good athletes, but they came to play, and hopefully they have some success next year and keep playing. So
they got some cool uniforms too, Jake.
Yeah, fair enough.
Awesome. Well, Jake, I appreciate you joining us, man. Get back to laying in your bed and relaxing. So
fair enough, man.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
I'll see you at the gym tomorrow, 5 a.m.
Yeah, be there, dude.
All right, buddy. I'll see you there.
Okay, later. Yep. See you.
Thanks, Jake.
See you.
All right. Well, everyone's always interested in that rumor mill, huh, man?
The rumor mill's popular, man. I get texts about it every week.
I bet. So I let mine out of the bag, Johnny Ryan, over to the shooters. I'm hoping that's a true statement. I do see Peter Joy here joining the feed. Welcome, Pete. And I do think, and I don't know, but I do think that Tony Laporte is going to go back to Players Inc. from what I was understanding and what I heard. I don't know how true that is, but once again, that's why we call it the rumor.
Yeah, he didn't play a whole lot last year. I know he was with Flash previously, and they just picked up a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And they continue to pick up more guys.
Yeah.
So I got one. Robbie Grisano said he'll have a decision by Monday next week as to where he's going to be.
Nice. I hope.
Rumor mill is that it's March Impact.
March Impact, huh? To go pitch?
To go pitch.
Yeah.
That's rumor mill.
Hopefully not. Hopefully he decides to come over to good old Hacks and play with Uncle Jimmy.
With it. We can use this as a recruiting base as well, but just telling you what I know. That's rumor mill right there. Robbie, done with signature, heading over to March Impact to help that team out.
I can honestly see that happening,
Yeah.
and that might be a good landing spot for him if it does. They picked up 4 guys from our squad, so they got that big kid Nick. I mean, they've got some nice talent there.
Yep. How about you were telling me Steph, right?
Yeah, so Steph from Hex, who played on Hex last year, who was like our 3rd, 4th outfielder. Yeah. You did a very nice job, played some infield when we needed him.
Lefty hitter, right?
Lefty hitter. He actually committed and went over to Flash as well.
Wow.
So
man.
Yeah.
Where do you see him fit at on that team?
I don't really know. I don't know their situation, but based on what they had last year, I'm just going to go off that. I mean, they had Justin Dispenza and Ryan in the outfield with Julian as their fourth.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mann's heading there as well, and Stacy and Julian kind of eating up catcher EH with Mann's. I don't see him playing there. I mean, maybe he'll be their third or fourth outfielder, and have to work his way into a spot. In the infield, I know they have Iggy and what's his name, Vito.
Yep.
Mikey Myers.
Joey Igiardo.
Yeah, him. And who's their third baseman? I always draw a blank on.
Is third.
Pitch.
Iggy's at short. Vito is at short,
yeah.
center. Mike Meyer, and then over at first is Zawoski.
Well, I mean, I could see Zoe pitching and possibly putting Stacy at first, maybe for them. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what they do. I mean, just calling that out, that'd be an interesting new look for Flash. And then Steph will, have to work his way in somewhere. I mean, both in the infield and outfield. But that's the cool thing about Steph. You can put him at short center. You can put him at second. You can put him in the outfield. He's very solid at all those positions, and he's an athlete, and he's fast. It's hard to find guys like that.
It's hard to find. It's hard to bench somebody like that too.
Well, that too. But we'll see. I mean, Flash is loyal to their guys. That's what they've always been in regards to, the guys on their team if they're playing well. And we'll see how that goes.
Yep. Do you have any other ones?
At the moment I don't, but I want to ask you, what do you think of the 45s? Because, the last couple weeks we've talked about guys leaving their team.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to see what you think in regards to what that roster is going to look like. I mean, Anthony, PJ Raines, Chucky in the outfield. I don't know who their fourth. Billy Smith would be their fourth outfielder. I guess they still have Lentine. I don't know about Vince. I haven't heard much. Vince is always going to be, I'm assuming, always going to be on the roster. They still have Nate. They still have Joey Yaris. Yep. I mean, they're still stacked.
Danny and Adam Haas fill out the rest of that. That's a team that'll be there on Sunday no matter who they've got on the roster, right? It's just
he pitch. I mean, they'll definitely be there. I'm just curious to see. They always got some up their sleeve. They're always quiet about what they do. So
I know we gotta figure some stuff out with them. We'll ask the right questions to the right people, Jim. But yeah, I mean that's an unbelievable team regardless, and the history behind the 45s kind of keeps them in talks with a lot of players. Does that make sense? Yep. Like 100%. If someone's deciding on where to go, it's tough to pass up an offer from the 45s. Yep.
And then we know where Signature lies. I think we talked about that last week on the show.
Fantastic.
Picking up the new, second best looking pitcher in softball. But we'll go there. That's fine.
Yep.
And then
Eric Mandarino.
No, we're talking about you. So
okay, thank you. Ooh, I don't know if you just saw that text message, Jim.
Yeah,
that is Mark. That was Marty Dosen.
I know that they were definitely working him hard.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know if he left 30-38 though.
If you'll allow me to break that news, Jimmy, I will.
Go ahead and break that down.
We just had a text. I feel like Brian Windhorst now in the NBA. Marty Dosen comes through and says Julian Russell from the 38s maybe making his way over to the 45s.
And he's a nice player.
He's a stud.
Yeah.
And he's very handsome.
I would find it, and that's why we can say these things because it's total rumor. Yeah. So we don't know if it's true or not. But that being said, if that move did happen, he is a nice player. That means probably Vince, I would say, is probably not coming back to that squad. Would be my guess.
He headed? Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I don't know.
Julian plays up a little. Julian plays a little ball at shortstop for the 38s. Julian only likes to play with teams with numbers in the name.
Right. So, but that being said, it definitely is a rumor. We'll see how it goes, right? I mean, like I said, the 45s are always quiet about what they do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Marty's mad at me for giving his name in the source, but I had to give credit.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fine. They'll get over it. It's just softball. So
okay.
There you go. Look at Bruce Lee there, my guy Bruce, saying he played with him last night all around, great defense everywhere in the field. Yeah, no, I think he's a nice player and only going to get better. I mean, that definitely helps them tremendously if that's true. So
I'm getting Jimmy, I'm going to do this. Ready? This is an idea off the top of my head. I'm getting texts as we speak about other rumors, but I'm going to make people tune in next week to watch.
All right. That works.
I got a couple of good ones during the show today.
Nice. Yeah, with me being in LA, and I didn't really have much of my phone this week, other than when we did the show. It's just, I didn't catch up. But the Johnny Ryan one to me, I thought was a good one.
Yeah, very good.
The guy that's been around softball and is a guy that's always going to help improve a team. So.
Yep, last one I've got for you. Mickey Balestri is going to make a big comeback and play for a major team next year.
Nice. Is he saying that or someone else saying that?
He is putting that in my ear.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. So, hopefully, where is he gonna go? My question.
Wherever will take him.
So,
he was thinking maybe like a BTA.
I don't see him going to BTA. Maybe. They need a pitcher, don't they?
That's just what he's told. That's just what he's telling me.
I can see him doing that.
I like
he's
it.
always been, he's always been pretty good with that for sure. I can see him doing that. I got to get, just speaking on that, I got to get a hold of BTA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you ain't lying, Bruce. I know. But that being said, I do got to get a hold of BTA and find out a way to get to them. I got to invite them to the November 10th tournament.
Yep.
But I do not have any of their cell phone numbers. So
I'll get you a number.
The coach is who I want to reach out to.
Yep. I'll get you some info if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll be one of the teams, and like I said, next week on the show I'm gonna talk a little bit about how that's gonna be run. That's a 2-week notice. I think is more than enough time. I've already shared the entry fee. I've already had 6 teams that I've invited already say they're in.
That's awesome.
I'm waiting on 2 other teams, and if BTA does come, I will make it a 9-team tournament, and I'll just have 1 playing game.
Awesome.
So I mean, I just feel that there's 9 quality teams, and it's only right to invite all 9, right? So, and then the following week, we are going to have the next 8 teams that I feel is in softball is right there, ready to make that jump. So I think I'm going to send those invites out. Probably send those out this week, probably Friday.
That's great.
So all is well with that.
All is well with the show too, Jim. Let's make sure to have everybody like us on Facebook, follow us, and then watch our stuff on YouTube as Jimmy gets that posted from the wife's laptop tonight or in the upcoming days here. But thank you guys very much for watching and supporting the stream for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Couldn't say it any better, Donnie. So thank you so much for your time. And the guests tonight were awesome, dude. I like hearing some of the old guys, older guys, just opinions and the way they look at the game, So
Fantastic.
There's Pop saying counted meatball. So, but awesome, man. Donnie, appreciate it. I don't have anything else. I think we're all good, man.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much. All right, guys. Thank you.
Later.